I'm sorry, my boy. I'm gonna have to fuck up your quarter chop.
It's all good. Keep it on a quarter chop.
Mic check, mic check, mic check. 1, 2. What is this? It's your boy Dario from the Time Flies podcast. Thank you for checking out this episode. Thank you for tuning in. And to the right of me, yes, we got the God, my boy Mike. Mike, what's good, boy?
Chilling.
You alright?
Chilling.
Chilling?
Back at it.
After I'm not gonna lie, yo, I'm a little tired after that episode that we just after that episode we did.
It's alright.
If you haven't checked out the episode, go check out that one. We talked about Nas and Hit Boy era, all the King diseases and magic, and talking about Ho's verse on God Did. Go check out that episode. It was a lengthy one, but it was a lot of good material in it. We got a lot of shit out for the culture, like always. But yeah, man, like we talked a lot, bro, and it was like very like.
That's how it would go.
No, me too, but I'm just a little tired. But we got more work to do. But before we get into it, I mean, I saw you like this whole time, but you know, I just want to make sure you're good.
Yeah, and if you're asking why we're wearing the same outfit as the last episode, don't ask too many questions, especially if you don't want to know the real answer.
What? No questions. Just enjoy the content, enjoy the material. But I'm assuming everything's been good since the last time, 5 seconds ago.
Yeah.
Everything's alright, right?
Yeah, those fucking cookies are delicious. I took a piss, finished my water bottle.
So you good?
Chilling.
I bet. Alright, this episode, we're going to be talking about the culture that we love, hip-hop. We're going to talk about music and albums that dropped in 2022. We're going to talk about some highlights, some of our favorites, maybe some disappointments. We'll see where it goes. Want me to just kick it off?
Let's kick it.
Set off the vibes?
Set it off.
Alright, man. So one of my favorite albums that came out in 2022, we are talking about Jid Forever Story. So, yeah, man. Yo, this album, bro, like, I knew about Jid, Dreamville Camp. We knew he could rap. I'm not sure what his first album was, because I know he dropped, like, a bunch of mixtapes.
Yeah, there was the DiCaprio's.
Is that a mixtape or is that an album?
Well, I think this is his first actual album. Yeah.
Okay.
Like, I think the DiCaprio served as, like, its predecessor, but this is the first album.
So yeah, so like just like we're saying, DiCaprio, the series, we knew he could rap, but then with this album, man, it's just like he still has his rapping ability. He's still showing you that he could rap, but he's putting together a cohesive body of work.
Yeah, no, he's setting himself out as like one of those guys.
Yeah.
Like he's a branch of the tree of like that Cole, Wale, Drake era, and he's doing it now, and he's doing it to an incredible like ability. Like this dude, he can make music, he can rap his ass off. Honestly, he reminded me through this album a lot of like Andre 3 Stacks. Like he really gave me that Dungeon Family vibe, and I feel like it was important because he's now, while he'll always represent Dreamville, he's coming out as his own independent entity at this point.
Yeah.
Like he's his own force to be reckoned with.
Yeah, no, he really separated, like you said, he really separated himself from the pack. One of the tracks that stands out, Just in Time, with fucking Wayne. Dog.
Yeah.
I know this is obviously JID's album, and JID kills it in this song, but fucking Wayne, bro. Yo, his feature run is legendary, dog.
You know what the thing is? It's like, and we've spoke about this in regard to other artists, but like artists of Wayne's caliber know when they're on the track with one of those guys, they not only have to show up, but they have to steal the show. He uses that approach on all of these. Like he knows what JID can do, so he gets on this track and he's like, let me not go loud on this song. And he goes, man, like
you know what I'm thinking about right now? In the last episode we talked about fucking M, right?
Yes.
I think you can say that Lil Wayne is kind of doing his lyrical miracle stuff with his features, but he's not doing it in the way Eminem is doing it, where it's like just it's beating you over the head and it's just not attractive. Is that a fair statement, or is that a little too far left?
No, I see what you're saying. However, Wayne still, makes the priority the music, so it's not like it still sounds good. He finds different pockets. Like, yeah, he's going for it, bar for bar, but like Wayne, I think, of course, he gets on a track with the intention to rap, especially with a higher caliber peer like JID.
Mm-hmm.
But he still keeps his eye on the music as well. So I think that's why, like, where, yeah, he's definitely blacking out and doing his lyrical thing, but he keeps it entertaining, keeps it engaging.
I put together, I made a playlist about Wayne features over the last few years. Put the link in the description, go check that out. But yeah, man, like when I was putting the playlist together, I'm like, Jesus Christ. And it's like, they're all fucking amazing, bro.
How far back did you go?
I forgot. I don't know exactly how far back I went. It definitely didn't go like fucking Cash Money, like back in like those days, like Silk the Shocker and shit. Like I didn't go there. I got M's with A$AP Rocky, so that's his second album. That's like 2015.
Now this might be a little too
niche,
but
I'm always willing to learn.
A feature that really stood out to me that was overlooked because of where it was placed, but Currency and The Alchemist had a project, I believe it was in 2015. And there's obviously the history between Currency and Wayne. I think Currency was Young Money's first artist before they really took off and found like their lane. But there was a track called Fat Albert. And when I heard Fat Albert, now mind you, keep in mind the time. This is 2015. So at this point, Young Money is its own imprint. Drake and Nicki are far beyond their own artists. And Wayne is kind of all the way taking the back seat. Because Wayne is a legend, he never gets to the point where no one's checking for him. But he had, I guess, fallen below the levels of, popularity of his successors. But when I heard him on Fat Albert, I said, oh, I see what this branch of his career is going to be. It's going to be this. It's going to be him getting on these records, no matter if it's an underground artist, your favorite mainstream artist, but he's going to get on and he's just going to dismantle shit. And that's what he's been doing. So I recommend, from a hip-hop standpoint, you think The Alchemist and Wayne just...
That's crazy.
Loses his mind.
Nah, thank you for that, man. I'm definitely gonna check that out. I'm pretty sure I don't have that one on there. But yeah, man, JID, Forever Story. I think definitely we should say this. He got fucking Yasin Bey rapping, aka Mos Def. We don't see him pop out very often, and when he does, it's a moment. You got Yasin Bey rapping again. That's definitely a fucking moment. But
he flipped Yasin Bey on surround sound.
Yeah.
And it was a good flip. I appreciated it.
I thoroughly enjoyed this album, and it really took me aback about like just him upping his skills, just upping the ante with like his artistry and his creativity.
For sure.
So mad respect to JID, the Forever Story. That's one of my favorite albums of 2022. So. And
JID, go back up to Funk Flex. I don't know if you saw that.
Oh, good call.
But if you know, JID smoked that shit. A lot of people have had that same gripe with Flex. Even the Griselda camp.
Yeah.
That like he doesn't give them the reaction that they're expecting, and so JID in a very vulnerable moment admitted like, yo, this is something that I always wanted to do, because JID is like our age. He's well aware of the Flex impact, what Flex has done. So when he went up there, I guess he said he didn't get the reaction he wanted, and he retired from like the radio freestyles in general. But please go back, because more people have to know on a platform like that, this dude is different. He deserves that respect. Like, that motherfucker is a goddamn beast.
Yeah, he's a monster. You want to hit me with one of yours?
Yeah, I mean, if we're gonna start somewhere, I mean, obviously we know King's Disease 3 is there for me. We just had a whole... By the time this is out, that'll be out. You'll know how I felt about it. So King's Disease 3 is on my top 5 list.
Okay.
I'm gonna...
Go check out that episode.
I'm gonna start off with one that's gonna throw you, because I know you don't fuck with this, but I didn't even expect to fuck with it the way that I did. But Davies' project
oh my god,
was fucking, to me.
Wait, which one? Oh, okay. I have a Davies project on a list. It's not on the album of the year list, but it's not that one. It's it's another one.
So this, and I don't even know if it's actually considered an album. It's definitely a project. It's a full-length project, but we talk about like artists kind of going back to their root or go. Davies, if you follow his career, He started off with a production group named Buddha and Grands. And this was a drama to Gangsta Grills. And it's Davies not really trying to appeal to the masses. It's just him he's just him rapping. It's him on a mixtape over Buddha and Grands. I fuck with it. You don't, sir?
You know my gripe with him. I told you, but I don't know if you remember.
Is it because he's half Dominican and doesn't represent like
you? Are you kidding me? No, it's not it. My gripe with him is I don't hear the evolution. I don't hear the evolution. Like, he sounds the exact same from when I first heard him back in, like, I don't know, 2015. I don't know, I'm making the number up. But to me, he's sounding the exact same, and I'm disappointed, bro.
See, I don't think that. I think the reason why I kind of, because I think I've been following East since like 2014. I'm not sure when he came out, but since around 2014. And I think as time went on and, people, he grew a wider appeal. He experimented with a lot of different sounds, a lot of different styles, which much respect to you, but it wasn't really doing, like, for one portion of his career, he was doing like a Nipsey thing. It wasn't really speaking to me.
Him and Nipsey were tight.
He was doing a lot of trap shit, like, cool, but this is the East. I like the fact that East has kind of gone back to his roots on this Book of David Gangsta Grills tape.
Is it boom bap? Or is it not?
It's like, it's not, because when you think boom bap, you think of like the dusty style, Griselda shit. It's not exactly that, but it's him just going crazy, like...
Okay, I see what you're saying. So, I mean, while you look that up...
God Body is fucking ridiculous. That's
ridiculous?
Standard. Yes. It's just him, no hook, going...
Just rapping.
So I really appreciate that. Almost as like my sleeper cell of the year, bottom. But when I think of my projects of the year, it's what I listened to the most and enjoyed consistently.
Right.
So that's up there for me.
Oh, nice. Yeah, that definitely threw me for a loop. But yeah, I'm sticking with Davies. It's just, do you remember when he like first really started to pop off with hip hop? He was doing his media run, talking about the basketball, and then when basketball ended, he needed something to fall back on. It was rap. So do you remember that time when he was doing that run, and then like all the OGs were saying like, "Yo, like he's next up. We could tell that you come from the specific '90s time because you sound like that. You sound like the '90s." Yeah, it's just like ever since then, it's just I just don't see the evolution
like
from there.
There was a certain expectation, and he hasn't lived up to it, so to speak.
Maybe you can say that, but honestly, I'm more focusing on the evolution. Like, I want to hear you sound different. I want to maybe on this project he does sound different. Maybe he has different flows, different pockets, and I need to check it out. The time where I stopped listening to him, of course he does it. But yeah, to me, I just got really tired of hearing him sound the same. And it's weird because like he's one of the only artists that's happened to me.
Where like there was a certain bar set and the lack of evolution.
Yeah, like it really hit me with him. I was like, yo.
So do you have any specific examples of what you or where you think a Davies should be at this point? Like how
where he should be?
Or like because I mean when you break it down, right?
He should be because I'm pointing to Griselda because that's kind of like they go hand in hand. But when I say Griselda, like Conway and Benny, like their names are relevant in the hip hop culture. So, Davies, his name is not relevant.
But see, the thing is, because as far as star power, right? He's on a big show with the Wu-Tang shit. He's
still on that show?
Yeah, he's still recognized by his peers, by the OGs.
Yeah.
I think when you talk about guys like Davies and Votto, these guys are guys who came up kind of in a time that it didn't exactly suit them. Because if Davies comes out after the Griselda rush, and that's the realm he goes into, he's on the same. But he preceded
right before
that. Votto, like, and it's the same thing with like a Votto, also a Harlem representative, who I also love. It's a matter of their timing, and I think, with Votto specifically, it's more so questionable decisions as far as doing the Khaled thing and not. But With East, I just feel like he's a victim of timing. I think that if you know, you kind of know. I think he still has the star power.
When you say star power, you say that you still think he has a star power. What does that mean?
Because he's still being placed in movies. He's still in a major show. Like he's still around. He's still people still bring him up in conversations. It's
and
just
music, rap, conversation,
well,
hip hop.
we were talking about like the OGs. Like they still bring up
Okay.
Davies. They still
Okay.
now, yeah. As far as relevancy,
Yeah, because when I like I just said Conway and Benny, like when I go to Instagram, like I follow Elliot Wilson. Like I see Conway and Benny a lot on Elliot Wilson's page, right? I haven't
But
seen
that's
a
because-
post about Dave East.
but the thing is too is that with the whole Griselda thing, this is where it's tough for an artist like Davies. Benny and Conway fall right into the hands of that Griselda boom bap
Of course,
niche.
of course.
So that following is serious. That following is strong. So and Elliot Wilson, a B Dot, these media outlets have no choice but to recognize that leg of hip hop and see guys like Benny and Conway as the dudes that have really shifted the culture in that regard. A guy like Dave East, he hangs in the middle where he's not necessarily dusty drum enough for the underground circuit, and he's also not willing to do the funny shit for the mainstream appeal either.
Right.
So he's right in between there, and when you fall in between there, unfortunately, like, I think to a lot of people, you get lost in the sauce unless you're paying attention. Like,
yeah,
and
because Elliot Wilson, his Instagram page, literally, that's how I keep up with hip hop. Because what he does, he posts stuff that's going on in hip hop culture. He posts Cardi B doing the photo shoot. He posts Lotto going on a guest appearance on some shit. That's what I'm saying. He posts what's relevant and what's up to date with hip hop.
Yeah.
I haven't seen him post a story or a post on Dave East in forever. And I see Benny. I see Benny most of the time. Not most of the time, but I see him a lot more than obviously Dave East. I see Conway. I see Westside. I see, again, like I just said, Lotto, Cardi B, Nicki. Like all these people, I'm just seeing them around more. And I just don't see Dave.
No, and I think that's a valid point. I think East is just falling in the middle, and
I mean, it could be like a conscious decision. Like he just doesn't want to do a lot of stuff, which to each his own.
He's
you know,
probably what a project like this indicates to me, where, like I said, it's him going back to his original producers, in my opinion, making good music and just kind of rapping. I think he's reached a point where it's like he's doing like fashion world shit. He's doing TV. The money's good over there. When I come back to this music shit, it's just to make for who wants to hear it, and that's it. Like, and I think that people reach that point with the music business once you get to,
I was just gonna say.
You know what I mean? And so
I feel like lately this has been the talk of the internet about like hip hop and rap has kind of become like a stepping stone.
Yeah.
Into like, let me blow up in rap and hip hop, and then from there I'm gonna get movie offers, TV offers, other offers.
That's the first step towards other business ventures.
And I'm not saying that I'm not saying that he went into hip hop with that intention. I'm not saying that at all. But I'm saying like he took advantage of it, which is great for him and his family, obviously. But I feel like the kids that are coming up today, they're coming up with the intention of leaving after they blow up. You feel me?
Yeah.
And like
so
that's
they make what appeals, and that's why it goes back. It lends itself to the last conversation as far as getting bored of the shit, because there's so much of that out there.
Yeah.
There's so much of the dudes who are just like, I'm gonna do what he does. I know that's gonna get me to a certain point, and once I get in the door, this is what I'm gonna do. So yeah, and I mean that's why you have to appreciate guys like, specifically the West Side Gun, who made a conscious decision. This is what I'm gonna do. This is how it's gonna be done, and it's because I fuck with the culture. And listen, that's a guy who's fully embraced the fashion world too. He's becoming one of those guys. But he also loves the hip hop culture, and that's why I'm never gonna knock those guys. You do other things aside from the music, but you love the music. Even when we talk about a Khaled's a dude who loves the culture. He's gonna do a million other things, make $1 billion other dollars elsewhere, but he still loves the culture. The issue here is that it's dudes who just see hip hop as a come up, and that's it. So they're just gonna do the same old shit, It's gonna get them recognized, and then they'll go elsewhere. Most of them, the ironic part is, they end up falling on their faces anyway because they don't have any business sense. So they think, I'm gonna do this, and then once they get, a little notoriety, they don't know what to do with it. And then you're like, oh, what happened to that dude? Oh, okay. Oh, well.
Yeah, with TikTok especially nowadays, TikTok, you can blow the fuck up with TikTok. And then Book of David Davies DJ Drama Project, right?
Yeah, really enjoy.
Listen, man, I gotta check it out. You say it's one of your favorites, so
definitely.
I definitely listen to what you say, and I'll check it out. I'll definitely check it out, and I'll give it a chance. All right, cool. So another one of my favorite projects of 2022. We are talking about.
Yep.
It's Almost Dry. Pusha T.
I did a whole fucking on this one.
Exactly. So me and Mike and I, we did an episode talking. We really dissected this album, talking just fully about this album. I don't really have a lot to say about it. It's just whenever Pusha drops an album, it's a fucking moment. Pusha, I remember when we talked about it, you give a great analogy. Maybe he even said it, but he's the Martin Scorsese of coke rap.
Yeah, it was his.
Oh, was it? Yeah, it was him.
And then,
yeah, man, like he knows how to do it, and he does it at a fucking expertise level.
And he makes, like, it's not just about the coke rap, it's about quality of music also. This album, like, to your point, you just should kind of do your Time Flies homework and check the episode out. But even after this, that's my favorite album of the year. That stood the test of time. That is the best album of 2022 to me.
Oh wow! Okay.
In my opinion.
Again, moments off this album. He has a verse from fucking Jay on Neck and Wrist, produced by Pharrell. And if you're living under a rock, this album was produced half by Pharrell and half by Ye. This is pretty much before Ye went on his crazy rant. And the lead single on this album was Diet Coke, which is fucking such a banger, bro.
I mean, everything. Call my bluff, hear me clearly. You get everything you want out of a Pusha project here.
Yeah, I remember we talked about Scrape It Off with Donnie, Don Toliver, and then Lil Uzi Vert. I like that song, and that song was getting gripe in the internet during that time because it was kind of like, left field and all that. But I liked it. So this is your album of the year.
Yeah.
Like,
not really. I mean, obviously we have our critiques, but.
Yeah.
Nah, this is that's my favorite hip hop album.
Nice, man, nice. So yeah, I mean, I don't really have much to say. Go check out that episode. Really insightful. We dissect the album, like I said, and we really get into the shits. Talk to me.
Next up, how ironic it is, the Rome Streets album.
Hey, kiss the ring, bitch.
I gotta go with that. I mean, and to your boy D's credit here. I think he knows how much I love and respect the Griselda movement and just, quote unquote real hip hop music. So I actually purchased the album.
Oof.
The night it came out, I purchased it, but I didn't listen to it because, full transparency, I fell into a place where I thought like the Griselda shit has led to a lot of other, replicas. It's I don't necessarily want to call it all low quality, but it's the same content. It kind of gets boring after a while.
No, that's a fair point.
You come, like, the era that we come from, it was like the early 2000s. It was street music. You get tired of that shit after a certain point. So I say all that to say, this album, when I finally sat down after getting over myself, I was like, Jesus Christ. Like, from the visuals of, Kiss the Ring, like the video, it was fire, it was original, it had West Side Gun written all over it because he's a creative motherfucker. And Rome Streets can very much rap. It was just gritty shit that if you're in the gym or you just are in the mood to hear the shit.
Well, you said that West Side Gun has his like fingerprints all over. It's like
all over.
He's part of the Griselda.
Yep.
Like Griselda, they grew within the last couple of years. He added a lot of people. Well, not a lot, but they added like a good amount of people.
It's the whole production camp from Griselda. It's Conductor who's...
Conductor, we have a problem. Fire. Derringer.
Everything from Conductor that I hear is just absolutely ridiculous. Non-factor with Westside Gunn is definitely Big Stepper. The intro, like.
Yo, Westside doesn't get his fucking flowers as far as a rapper, bro.
No, as far as a rapper, yeah, no, because there's a lot of other. You know what the thing is? Is people I don't think are able to get past his voice. I think that no, I really think that.
Hey,
that's I think that's the major thing with him. But no, Westside could really rap, and I don't think he gives a fuck whether people like. As long as you respect him as a creative.
Oh no, he doesn't give a fuck.
Yeah, like that's it. But
yeah, he can rap. It's just
and I really do resent using this term, but the brilliance of Westside Gunn will be appreciated more in time and can be its own podcast, even at this point where we're talking about 7 years into his career as we kind of know it. And it seems like anything that Westside Gunn has his hand in,
it's quality.
It's gold dust. He's taking, artists that, even if he fucking,
I wasn't expecting you to say that, that's why.
This shit, and I mean, Rome Streets has been around for a long time.
He's been around, yeah, he's been
in the blogs for a long time.
Yeah.
But Westside sees something in these dudes. He has an ear for their sound and what production would suit them best, and he really does EP these projects, whether it's Rome Streets, Armani Caesar, of course the early work of Benny and Conway have kind of branched into their own thing now. But when you talk, who do you think's responsible for the Tana Talk 3? Like aside from Benny himself,
right.
like Wes was the one who said, "Nah, we're gonna put you in the studio with just Alchemist, just Derringer, and you're just gonna do what you do." And that's Tana Talk 3 is a modern day classic, in my opinion.
I'm not mad at you for that time.
And I didn't get any of the merch, but the merch was tough. The visuals are tough. He's rapping. It's gritty street shit. If that's what you're in the mood for, this is where you go. And
so you were talking about the merch. I believe he dropped the merch with that clothing line, Awake.
Awake, yeah.
Yo, shout out fucking Angelo Bach. I think that's what you see his last name. From Queens. Queens get the money. Shout out to you, bro.
Queens is doing a lot of things low key in the street, in the streetwear fashion world. Like,
I love that. I love that fucking his clothing company. Yeah. That clothing line is just.
Yeah.
But it's a little pricey, so it's a little pricey. Full disclosure, actually, this is one of my albums that I have as well. The same thing is piggybacking off you. Is like anything is boom bap, anything that reminds me of like to us, the golden age of hip hop, which is the '90s. Like anything that reminds me or lets me get that feeling again. Like I'm always gonna check out, and if I like it, I'm going to ride with you, bro.
Yeah.
And I mean, I've known about Rome Streets, but like.
It wasn't interesting enough. Let's be honest. It wasn't interesting enough up to this point.
I think
that's what Westside Gunn does.
Literally, that's literally what I was
He
gonna say.
makes it interesting.
Yeah.
He makes underground street shit. He spruces
it
it up so
it
it's not boring and it's interesting again.
And Westside, when he does interviews, like he talks his shit. Like he's like,
he knows.
He knows, and he's just like, yo, like who was doing this shit before me, shit like that, and.
But he knows that it's going to age well. When people look back at it, it's going to age well. So that's where he's operating. The same way they say Kanye was talking from the future's perspective always. So when you watch his Breakfast Club in 2013, you're like, oh, there's certain dudes who have that thing. And I don't care what anyone else feels. I do feel that Westside Gunn is in that same ilk, just from a creative standpoint. Some dudes just have that foresight. Like when you talk about how Kanye was speaking from the future's perspective on certain interviews way back, the 2013 Breakfast Club interview, and these dudes, they just, and I don't care how anyone feels, Westside Gunn is in the same ilk as far as creativity as these guys, and I do believe that'll age gracefully. So,
love it.
I mean, and next up, I think everyone who's familiar with that realm of hip hop, we're all waiting on the Stove God Cooks project with Westside. So hopefully we get that at some point in 2023. And on our recap for this year we'll be talking about that, I'm sure. So.
Ooh, talking about the future. Yeah. That's what I'm talking about.
Yes, sir.
The next album is, I think it's another safe, I don't want to say safe choice, but it's another one that's, I guess, obvious. Mr. Morale and the Big Steppers.
Also did a podcast on this one.
My boy. We also did an episode on this album specifically, dissecting the album track by track. Go check that out. The interesting thing about this album, I haven't really gone back to it.
That's why it's not on my album of the year.
I feel you. I'm not mad at you for that.
Yeah.
But what I will say is that when the album dropped,
yeah,
the quality of the music, Kendrick is always going to be dropping something that needs to be paid attention to. So that's why it's on my... And I liked the album when I heard it.
It's a good album.
Yeah.
It was impactful. Kendrick's doing what he does. It had a lot of weight. It was a dense album.
Super dense. It's a therapy session, dog. Legit therapy session.
For sure.
My favorite track of the album, no question, is We Cry Together with Taylor Page. The fucking
by
Alchemist. Alchemist, the fucking guy, yo. Never stop producing, please. We love you.
No.
Yeah, man, and that track is super intense. It's literally an argument, and I don't care what you say. It gives me Eminem Stan vibes. But whatever. Just from the standpoint of, like, literally, like, it's like they're talking.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
The playwright of it almost.
Thank you very much. Yeah. And yeah, they shot a video for it, and it was kind of like a mini movie.
Oh.
The beat, like you said, is from Alchemist. It's boom bap, and I love the artistry within that song itself. They're talking about black love. They're talking about relationships. They're talking about adulthood. They're talking about like just insecurities that you have to deal with your other partner, like shit that you have to deal with on a daily basis. But the way he puts it together on this song is beautiful, bro. And like it's weird because like that's the song that after I heard it a couple times, that's the song that I had on loop.
Yeah.
Cause the beat I just loved it, but it's like when you take a step back, it's a really intense song. So
no, it's super fucking intense. That's like, I mean, yeah, for me just to kind of go back to it, but I mean, Father Time, hearing Sampha again.
Oh yeah,
was
fire.
really dope.
Beautiful voice, of course.
But yeah, Savior was definitely
the interlude or the
no,
song?
no. I mean, interlude. Baby Keem went for it.
Do you remember what the statement you said on the episode?
Well, there was a couple of wild statements I made.
Well, the Baby Keem statement he made.
That he did the best rapping on the entire album.
Yeah. You want to say that again for the listeners?
Yeah, Baby Keem did the best rapping on this album.
No shame, looking straight into the camera.
And my other take from this, and mind you, I love Kendrick, but Kodak Black.
Oh yeah.
On Silent
I forgot about that take. That's spicy, bro.
But Savior was my favorite track because
love that.
I mean, in the same vein as like hearing Sampha, I don't get the chance to hear Sam do too much, but he was. I think of Wale when I think of Sam Do. They had a project on a record on the Gifted album that his voice is just like this. There's something vintage about it. It's just dope. So that would definitely be my standout track here. And like, of course, it's a good album. I just didn't find myself going back to it.
Yeah.
So I left it off of my list, but definitely the utmost respect. I'm sure that at some point I'll revisit it and I'll find more things about it that I like, but I probably haven't listened to it again since maybe the second listen. So.
Yeah, no, I mean, and that's a lot. I hear that a lot too. The consensus of people on the internet and some of my other friends, they say that they don't go to it, and I understand why. But how do you feel about Kendrick winning the Grammy?
Shit, always, I love that.
Deserved.
That dude, like, all things aside, like Kendrick, he's one of those marquee artists of our generation that we got to watch from the come up, and we've enjoyed, and he's made, the soundtrack to our 20s, like in a lot of ways, along with the Drakes and the Coles and the Wales, in my opinion. So seeing him win a Grammy, love that shit.
It's just interesting thinking about Kendrick's career moving forward. He's not gonna be dropping albums as much anymore.
Well, he wasn't really dropped. This was his first since 2017, so there was a 5-year gap here. So
yeah, well, that's what I mean. I feel like he's gonna like repeat this cycle.
Yeah,
we're not gonna see him for a while as far as album wise. And and I think it's pretty safe to say that he's gonna be talking about continually what he's been talking about here, real shit, family stuff, you know, the black history, all that stuff.
That's his life now.
So
it's different. Yeah.
Yeah, but yeah, man.
Respect.
One of my favorite albums of the year. When I heard it, it was definitely a moment. We haven't heard Kendrick for a while, and I just can't get over it. We Cry Together, bro. That shit made such an impact on me.
Yeah.
It's just like they go back and forth, and it's a conversation, but it's a song, and you're in the middle of it, and the beat is. And again, Alchemist. If you're a fan of Alchemist, like everything, it just comes together so fucking. It's cohesive, and it's just like a perfect marriage, and shit is fire, bro.
For sure.
So Kendrick, fucking salute. Grammy, we're proud of you. We love you. You're up, my boy.
What's next for me? So far we had the By Default King's Disease, The Book of David, Rome Streets. We did my Pusha T.
Yeah.
We got another hot one. The Montega album, French Montana and Harry Fraud. So, in my personal opinion, another dude who I think it gets overlooked how much he respects hip hop because he's done a lot outside of like the realm of New York hip hop, being a guy from the Bronx. He was popularized in the South, so a lot of his sound, and even to some, like the slur in his speech was like a Southern drawl almost. Like so.
What do you do when you hear that?
Got overlooked a lot, but when you think of fucking this guy, like French and Harry Fraud, I'm always gonna listen. It's one of those combinations. Like in Harry Fraud and French, that's a combination that I'll always listen to. And I think at the time that French was coming up with the wave, literally and figuratively to speak, with Max B. At that point in time, we're talking like
Wave God.
like maybe 08, 09, and I will admit that was one of those points in life where I wasn't paying attention to a lot of the hip hop that was coming out at that point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know. It was off the back of the Snap era, and it was kind of like the Cole, Kendrick, and Drake phase of hip hop that got me back paying attention to the modern shit. So I didn't necessarily miss the French and Max shit. I was always paying attention because I was watching the blogs. I saw the World Star videos. I saw all that shit, the Cocaine City DVDs. But I wasn't engaged until I heard Playing in the Wind, which just so happens to be French Montana and Harry Fraud connection. And from that moment on, I said, oh no, this is something here. And then every time, in my opinion, I heard them together, it was like ridiculous. So when I got this album, and it's all Harry Fraud and French,
shit,
I already knew it was coming. And
I like Harry Fraud, but dude, in all honesty, I did not listen to his albums because French is everything you're saying is just like he gets overlooked. I don't want. Maybe it's fair to say that he has this stigma where it's like he's French Montana, so you know he's gonna come out with a hit every couple years. I guess he's gonna come out with a banger, right? But then, like, when you think about his albums, people don't talk about his albums. They don't talk about his bodies of work. They highlight the singles, which are fucking smashes.
Because,
that's what's holding me back.
What French does on a lot of his albums is he tries to appeal to different markets all on the same album. So you're never really going to love his album. Some people will hate it, but if you're just objectively listening, you probably won't love or hate his albums. But on the Fraud projects, it's a very concentrated effort towards his core audience. So he's kind of rapping, doing his thing with some melody, and Fraud is providing that production backdrop, like that vintage style, the sped up samples, just it.
He knows he could make
makes
music.
Magic, and when them two come together and it's that concentrated effort, he's speaking to a particular audience, and that's why this project works. And if he had stayed the course, and who's to dictate anyone else's artistry, but had he stayed the course and done the Harry Fraud and French connect for the beginning of his career, more people would be talking about his actual albums. Yeah. But he went a different route. I do feel like this album is worth a listen if that's your gripe.
No, I mean, again, whatever you say, I definitely listen to. So, and I like Harry Fraud. It's just I had to get over that fucking French Montana stigma that I have for myself. Whatever. So yeah, I mean, when the album dropped, I literally added it to my library, but I never got around to listening to it because I just couldn't. But again, I got homework to do. I got Dave East, I got Frenchie. You know, do when you hear that. Yo, I can't. Yo, this shit. See, but that kind of goes into what I'm saying. French, he has this thing where he's like still part. He's not in the conscious mind. But if you think about it, he's always within the culture. If that makes any sense.
Yeah.
Like that whole hand thing. Like people say that. Like people actively say that.
No, yeah, he's still like French is one of these guys. No, absolutely. Like he has those bookmarks kind of in the culture, whether it's the hand, but he also makes an effort to collaborate with the younger artists on the come up, whether it's just a New York based artist or from whatever market. So he keeps himself in the conversation in that regard. But I do feel like within the past couple of years, his popularity on a mainstream level may have declined. But who maintain? I mean, the dude has been doing it. You figure on a big level since. Excuse
my French.
Yeah, like the Shot Caller even, which precedes, excuse my French. So he's been doing it for a long time. He had a run. And that's what happens, you know. And these guys aren't.
When was that? Shot Caller, excuse my French time. It's like.
Well, excuse my French is, I believe, 2013.
Yeah, I was gonna say like.
Shot Caller was like 2011. So Shot Caller was right after Max B gets locked up, and he kind of finds his own thing at that point. But
then another one of his hits. What's that fucking the summertime summertime song that he had with Sway Lee? Forgot what it was called.
Unforgettable.
Dog, that shit was a
and
banger, dog.
That took him to another place.
That shit was a
there was
banger,
the fame
dog.
he had before that, but that record took him like global.
You know what's crazy is that was the same summer Bodak Yellow came out with Cardi.
Yeah.
What the fuck? Those two songs in the same summer? That's fucking crazy, dog.
Yeah. And that is summer.
I don't know.
Summer 17,
something
summer
like that.
16,
15 to like 18, something like that.
See, in my mind, I decipher everything. Was I a parent yet? I know in 15 I wasn't a parent yet, so it wasn't 15. And I know I was a parent yet, so it was either 16 or 17. But yeah, man.
Wait, but do you know what to do when you hear that? Alright. I got some homework to do. My boy Mike is telling me Dave East. My boy Mike is telling me Frenchie and Harry Fraud. So I'm listening.
The Dave East, I don't foresee you truly enjoying, but I do believe that the French project you'd enjoy.
Okay, I'll take your word for it, bro. I'm listening to it. Moving on to another one of my favorite albums of 2022. Okay. I got Mr. Boop 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 Boop.
Yeah.
Hey yo. Kind of, we talked about West Side a little bit like earlier, like a couple minutes ago. It's Hitler Wears Hermes 10. This is supposed to be the final installment of the Hitler Wears Hermes series. Which is if you've been following for a while, is a minute when it first started, like
2012. It was 10 years. So
thank you.
He did whatever.
I was gonna say 2010, but thank you for fact checking me. And again, just another prime example of curating a really quality fucking body of work.
Hip hop album.
A super hip hop boom bap album. You know I gotta get the track list though.
Well, you know where my eyes go. And by the way,
this shit is hard to read.
This being called Hitler Wears Hermes, and it dropped right around the same time Kanye was like going on his shit.
Which is why he just changed it to 10.
Yeah,
but the real one's no.
BDP.
Which one?
BDP with Rome Streets and Stove God Cooks.
I mean, of course.
Ridiculous. Once again, the visuals, like when Westside does it, he does the whole thing. He does the videos, he does the production piece. I mean, the intro is produced by RZA.
We got Alchemist. We got Conductor. We have a problem. Yeah, man.
He has a name for his like base of the conductors and the daily. I think they're
The
called the
Denver?
Heartbreakers or something. Like he calls them something. He has a name for that collective.
Yeah, that sounds like familiar.
But the conductor Williams is a fucking beast. I'm hyped whenever I see his name on a production credit.
Damn, I wish I could read it better. But I know the fucking last track, Red Death. I know that shit's like a 10-minute track and it has all of Griselda. We talking Boldy, we talking Rome, we talking Stove God, right? Yeah, Stove God. We're talking Westside himself, Conway. I think I said Benny. I'm not sure. Armani's on it, killing it. But yeah, it's just a fucking like a 10-minute track of just Griselda going stupid. Yeah, and literally, I have the track list right now and the length of the time. So yeah, 10 minutes and 23 seconds, bro.
He did this on his last album too. It wasn't with that like A-list Griselda camp. It was with other rappers. But yeah, he's making that like bringing the posse cut back with 10-minute tracks and they're all rapping.
Well, we were texting about this album maybe a couple months ago, and I brought up Science Class with Busta, Ghostface, Stove God, and Raekwon. What was your what was your take on it?
When I see those names produced by Swiss Beats, I'm expecting something. And I think Ghostface especially sounds like he just blends into that record effortlessly. It just wasn't what I was necessarily looking for. I was looking for something with a little more of an edge, where I respect the irony in it, because I think that speaks to Westside's Gun creative process as well, where he probably knows what people are expecting when you see those names on it, and instead he took the most obscure Swiss Beats production and put these guys over it. I mean, I'm not mad at it, but it's just not really
what you were expecting. I feel you.
And low-key, I'm not a fan of when Busta Rhymes, he gets on the Griselda tracks and he starts talking coke talk. It does something.
So we were talking about this offline. I'm pretty sure it was offline. And you were telling me how you were kind of diving back into Busta's discography, and you were going into early Busta.
Yeah.
And
everything remains raw.
There you go. And me and you, we kind of have the same thing about him, where it's just something about him just kind of just doesn't really attract us. Like, it doesn't. We don't gravitate towards it. And yeah, I'm with you, man. Like, Busta, I like the track. I love the track. Ray, Ghost, and Stove God, they do the thing. Everybody sounds great.
Yeah, for sure.
Busta sounds good. Busta sounds good on this track. But it doesn't connect. It doesn't connect. It doesn't feel cohesive. It just doesn't feel right. And again, it's just not saying that the track is bad. No. The track is good. It's just, I'm with you, man. Well, I'm not 100% with you, because I know
you said it grew offline. You said it kind of grew.
Yeah, it grew on me. Yeah, the track grew on me, but the one thing I have about the track is Busta.
Yeah.
But I also want to talk about fucking track number 10, Switches on Everything, featuring Run the Jewels. I still got Cooks.
Yeah.
But Westside goes hand in hand what we've been talking about. Westside. Westside has this ability to curate an album, get these artists together that you wouldn't expect to blend seamlessly into this album, into this type of music. On I'm not sure which album it was, maybe Pray for Paris. He got Tyler, the creator, on it. I mean, he was talking his stuff, but he was still on a Griselda track. And guess what? It sounded good. It sounded great. So this is what I'm saying. He's able to go outside the norm, get Run the Jewels. What?
Yeah.
On a fucking Griselda track?
Yeah, no, for sure. And they sounded good. How about the Black Star reunion?
My man,
not everyone can do that.
Not everyone can do that, bro.
People haven't even heard the Black Star album in its entirety that just came out, because it's exclusively released somewhere. I haven't heard it, but I heard this shit, and this shit was fire. I saw the video. The visual is fire. It's right there in the heart of Flatbush. Fire.
Oh, I didn't see the video.
Yeah, man.
You didn't want to send it to me via text?
Eventually.
Oh, just a little side note. Fucking second track, Fly God Jr. featuring DJ Drama. I want to give flowers to DJ Drama, because he's having a fucking year, bro. He had a year. I mean,
it started back with the Tyler project.
Tyler, the creator.
And then it kind of took off from there. But I mean, yeah, this is a resurgence of DJ Drama, the Gangsta Girls brand. Like, I mean, obviously we saw what the Gangsta Girls brand did in our high school years, and then with the Wayne and Cheesy most notably.
Yeah, I mean, as far as Westside and Hitler wears Hermes. That's a tongue twister.
I'm always gonna listen to a Westside project, whether he's EPing it or it's his own. Like, he just always manages to put out something quality. Yeah. Like, if you're into that, And maybe even if you're not necessarily into that, like I said, he makes it interesting enough, and it's always a quality project in my mind.
He curates art. Art. All right, West Side again. Flowers. Keep going for the culture. Keep doing it. Doing big things. You heard? You got any? Do you have any other albums that you want to?
So I guess the last one that comes to mind is actually Mayhem Loren.
Oh wow, that's definitely. I definitely want to hear what you got to say. I should have prefaced with this. My bad. I should have prefaced with this. I have like fucking. In my album of the year contending list, I have like 8 fucking albums. Yeah. I'm pretty sure I have like an album that I'm gonna choose. Like this is the one I think, but yeah, I have a lot of albums. Sorry.
Yeah, no, I mean me too. I mean even if we're talking about like the Freddie Gibbs project, I know we've had conversations about Action and everything. His album.
Disappointment to me. I'm sorry.
No, it grew on me. It honestly did. But if I have to think off the top of my head, Black Vladimir. Mayhem Loren and Derringer. Fire. I think, and to break it down even further, and I don't know if you want to delve into off the top of your head, it's hard, but your favorite song or your favorite hip hop song of 2022? Mine was on that album.
What was it?
It's a record called Broken Rubber Bands with, obviously, it's just Mayhem Loren and Derringer produced it. He produced the whole album. For me, it just does exactly what it needs to do. It's a classic, like almost specific to Queen's hip-hop piano sample riff. And it's just Mayhem going for it, just rapping. And for me, it's simple and it does the trick and I can listen to the fucking song all day. I loved it. I really did.
So that's your favorite track?
That's literally my favorite rap song of 2022. Even though Pusha T had my favorite album, Broken Rubber Bands by Mayhem Loren was my favorite rap song of 2022.
Damn, that's crazy. Yo, big up
and
to Mayhem Loren.
And shout out to Mayhem Loren because even with the whole I bought merch for that album, I just had an inkling that, if I asked about merch or something, he may respond because he's one of those dudes, and he did.
You DM'd him?
Yo, he was very shout out to Mayhem Loren. He's very conversational, even with someone like me who he owes nothing to. But he let me know when the album was coming.
Oh, that's awesome,
he was anything I posted of his, he respond so I really, and even Benny too. Benny seemed like these dudes if I post something on my story or I just go for it. Like if I see a snippet, because I can't even help myself. I don't necessarily even expect a response, but if I hear a snippet on like a Mayhem story or a Benny story, and I just out of pure fandom, I'm like, what the fuck? When is this happening?
Yeah.
Mayhem responded to me. Benny just the other day responded. So that's dope. That's dope that these dudes, I mean, they're doing their thing and they still have time to fucking, when I fan out over snippets, shout out to these dudes, man, because that's dope that that's
so cool.
And like I said, I'm not one of these people. First of all, I think one of the main and only reasons that I'm still on Instagram is really because I'm following these artists and I want to know when the music's coming.
Yeah.
So I have these moments where I'm just going through stories and I hear something I like. And like I said, not even intending for a response. I'm definitely not one of those people. But that kid who loves hip-hop is still there with me. So I'm like, yo, what is this? And these dudes actually take the time, to respond.
So awesome,
that's really dope to me. I don't know, man. And Mayhem, whether it was the merch stuff or the album question, he's dropping a Mayhem and Mad Lib project, I believe he said in March. Because I had to ask, because there was another instance of a snippet that he was blaring while he's playing, while he's driving in Miami. And I had to hit him with the what the fuck. And sure enough, he stated that shit is coming in March. So shout out to Mayhem. Keep doing your thing. But
didn't sorry to interrupt, but didn't Big Body fucking drop something too this year? Or
he was supposed to drop the Body Language, but we haven't gotten it yet.
So that core Mayhem, Big Body, and fucking Action,
yeah,
it's fucking comical. Yeah, Action, we've had conversations offline. Yo, Action, man.
Action is one of my hip hop songs of the year, even on that album.
What song was it?
A song called Turkish with Mayhem. It's just.
No, listen, we're gonna have an Action moment right now because we talked about this offline. We were gonna do an episode about it, but we're here, so whatever. Yo, Action, bro. If you come across this somehow, some way, I get it. You are a man of many talents, a man of many interests, and I love watching you explore your interests with food and wine and all
Great
that stuff.
taste.
Yes, great taste in clothing, and I'm very happy for you with like the whole exercising, losing weight, getting healthy. Like, proud of you, man. Keep going. But coming from just me, this is just my personal opinion. I want you to make another body of work, a music album, but really fucking try, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Like, I get your I don't want to say niche, but I get your what you go for. And I know rap isn't like at the front of your mind right now, but like going back to your mixtape days when you were rapping and trying, like those
Blue chips.
What you say?
Rare chandeliers.
Yes, exactly. Yes, like those. I was listening to them when I was like training for basketball and shit, and like I just loved it, yo. And like
shit.
These last albums are like like I keep saying, like it feels like you're not trying, bro. And it's just a little sad because I know the kind of potential that you have, and I just feel like if you make a concerned effort into putting a really good body of work together, I feel like you can make a lot of noise in hip hop.
So I've sensed the same thing in moments. What I've come to notice is that there's an expectation that fans like us have of Action Bronson when we kind of fell in love with his shit around that era of Rare Chandeliers and Blue Chips. We want that back. I feel like Action is one of these guys where it bores him to kind of go back into, the same avenues.
Yeah.
And I feel like even what you notice with like these last couple of albums, he likes experimenting with different sounds and different samples, and the lyrics and rapping are almost secondary. He has his moments, like if he's on a track with, a Mayhem or Hologram dudes, I guess, that he came up with. He flexed the rap muscle, or Rock Marciano, who seems to bring the best out of Action every time they collab. But I think his focus is on making more eclectic and interesting music, which it's experimental. Which I mean, would we expect?
The thing is, I'm not mad at it, but the thing is like he's had a couple of projects of doing it now, and I don't know if this is like a bad thing to say, but like I just want to hear him go back to like I just want to hear him in that way again.
I think you should listen to the Coco Trio album again, man. I think because I had that same feeling when I first heard it.
Yeah.
But I don't know,
man.
You
just kept listening to it.
I kept listening to it, and then certain records, like there was a record with Rock Marciano that originally stuck out to me. Then it was the Mayhem record with Turkish. And then it starts all coming together like, oh, this is kind of dope. But there is that entry point, that barrier that you kind of have to break first.
I don't think that album is bad. I don't think that album is whack.
Yeah.
It's just...
It's not what you want at it.
And it's not even that it's not even like I can say that it was unexpected. Because like I said, the last couple of albums have been, like you said, eclectic, experimental. So like I kind of knew that he was going to do that again in this album and not to say that he wasn't taking it serious, but he wasn't like, like giving it its full hip hop. Yeah, it was giving it its full hip hop,
Yeah.
So it's not a bad album. It's just I guess it just wasn't what I was hoping for.
Yeah, understandably so.
And yeah, man. So that's my little Action Bronson 5-minute rant, whatever.
No,
but
absolutely.
Shout out to the.
Fucking love Action Bronson.
No, yeah, we definitely love Action Bronson. He's one of the most funniest people. So charismatic. It's fucking hilarious.
And when he raps, he fucking.
When he raps, man, he raps. That's what I'm saying. He has the fucking. It's in there.
Yeah.
But shout out to Mayhem by Big Body Action.
Sure.
Yeah, man, great fucking call with this album. Again, I got another one to do homework with. Dave East, Mayhem. you know, Frenchie. Almost forgot.
The Black Vladimir album with Mayhem is really dope, man. And
Around when did it come out? Summer or?
Yeah. July, August.
Okay.
Fire. Broken Rubber Band's rap song of 2022. My home.
That's crazy how you have a very specific song.
Just
that's props, yo.
It really stuck
That's
out.
props, yo, because
there's very few songs that I could listen to for the entirety of a workout, and that song was on loop for about an hour. It's a 2-minute and 30-second song. So, shout out to Mayhem. Shout out to Derringer.
Shout out, boy. My next album, after Mr. Boop 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 Boop, I think we're gonna keep it Griselda. I think, if I'm not mistaken, yeah.
Okay.
We're keeping it Griselda.
Yeah.
I love how they have their own little like sayings.
Yeah.
But I have a question for you. So, 10 more commandments.
Yeah.
Because obviously we're talking about the 10 crack commandments with Biggie.
Yeah.
So he freaked it, did a little remix. He added 10 more commandments.
Mm-hmm.
Just what are your feelings regarding the track? Like, are you okay? Is it whatever? Are you disappointed? Like,
no, I thought it was dope.
It was cool.
I thought it's a tough act to follow.
That's why I'm asking. Yeah.
I'm not gonna go into that and expect Biggie and Premier all over again. I feel like the fact that he's modernized the commandments as far as street shit is concerned. The beat to me, who produced it again? It's Derringer and Beat Butcher. Fire. The fact that he has Diddy ad-libbing on it shows a respect for the culture.
Yeah.
And
made me sound godly.
Yeah, he did his thing. Oh, real estate.
Yeah, no, it's because again, like I said, just the Ten Commandments with Biggie. Again, that's like one of the, as far as songs of hip hop, that's definitely one of the pillars of hip hop.
Yeah.
Biggie itself, that's a whole conversation. But yeah, I mean, just when I saw that track listing and I saw that song, you know, that's kind of like, oh, okay.
It's a tough act to follow.
It's a tough act to follow. He has a lot to live up to, and like you just said, a stamp of approval with Diddy. I liked it, but I've seen stuff on the internet. People were disappointed, so I wanted to ask.
I think he did it justice.
All right, nice.
I think another instance of, you know, almost setting yourself up for failure by following up in the same vein as, you know, kind of putting yourself up against a challenge and almost setting yourself up for failure in a lot of people's eyes. Naming this Tana Talk 4 after, you know, the prestige of Tana Talk 3, it gives a certain expectation to the album where I know for me personally, it took me some time to adapt to. Because I go into it expecting Tana Talk 3. And I mean, a lot of the same characters on it. I don't think it exceeds Tana Talk 3, but it's a quality rap album.
Again, just another, coming from the Griselda camp, just a very good cohesive body of work. The highlights for me, again, we just talked about it, 10 More Commandments. It does it justice. I want to talk about Uncle Ben with 38 Special, yo.
Oh, Uncle Bun?
Oh yeah, my bad. I said Ben. Sorry. Uncle Bun with 38 Special. Yo, the back and forth that they have, and the fucking beat, produced by Derringer. Oh yeah, Derringer. I was listening to her earlier today.
Actually, Me Too, as funny as that is.
Nice. Great minds think alike.
Yeah.
I was listening to her earlier today, and we all know Betty can rap, but I don't know. I call it like a different feeling because it feels like 38 Special can rap, but it just felt like 38 Special was keeping up with him.
Yeah.
And like,
for sure.
I was just like, they're both rapping their fucking ass off right now, and I fucking love it. It really caught me, bro.
This goes to something, and shout out to Ransom. Ransom had an album with V Don towards the end of the year, right? Or was that the beginning? No, that was the end of last year, and the end of 2022.
100% sure.
That was really dope, and he's obviously done a lot of collaborating with 38 Special. And he says the reason for that is because 38 Special brings him back to the DJ Clue and Desert Storm days when Ransom was with the A-Team. If you're not familiar, that's where Fab came up, Joe Budden, these guys all came up in this one camp on mixtapes. And they were basically just all on records, freestyle, trying to kill each other. And he said that Spesh brings Ransom back to that feeling. So it makes sense. So when you get, you know, that competition of that back and forth between Benny and Spesh, it's really dope to me. I have a sleeper on this album, and it's because it was different.
Talk to me.
Number 8, Thowie's Revenge. Produced by Alchemist.
No. Produced by
Alchemist. And that, it just had a different cadence to what you may expect out of the Alchemist beat for one, but also an Alchemist and Benny beat. It was just dope to me. Had some nice horns in there. You know, Benny was talking his shit, but
love
really
that.
good record.
Another track, Tyson vs. Ali, featuring Conway. So, like,
addressing the bullshit.
Literally, they wanted to stop all the speculation and rumors. Like, there's no beef, and they just look at each other like great fucking, just the titans of hip hop, which is cool. And
they're cousins.
Are they?
They're cousins.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
What? Gunn and Conway are brothers. Benny is their cousin.
Oh shit, I didn't know that.
And the Machine Gun Black, the one they talk about, is Benny's older brother. They're all family. So when people on the internet speculate on them, like, that is like, come on, that's so corny to me.
But no, I mean, they addressed the bullshit like you just said. But again, it's quality fucking track, and then the whole fucking theme of Tyson vs. Ali. It's like they're saying something. They're saying something. Produced by Derringer. We keep highlighting Griselda because they're just putting out really good fucking music, man. And
they are good hip hop music.
Yeah, 100%.
And also shout out again to Boldy James. I think he smoked Weekends in Perry. Low key, talking about I got rich off pain, but I'm still depressed. Like, he was, you could tell that beat brought something else out of him. Like, and
that's like a slow tempo kind of joint, right? Yeah, it's not like your typical boom bap shit. Benny the Butcher coming. Salute.
Yeah.
One of the better albums of 2022.
Always looking forward to a Benny project.
100%.
And to go back, not even to sound like a groupie, but goddamn, Benny and Hit Boy coming back in August.
Oh yeah, the Benny and Hit Boy joint.
Because he was putting up these fucking samples, and I couldn't stop myself as a fan of this shit from saying, what the fuck? And yeah.
So we're gonna move on. So these next 2 albums,
okay,
they're definitely in the albums of the year contender list, but they're the sleeper picks for me.
Okay.
Feel me? Ari the fucking Kid, The Shadow and the Shade. I texted you this was a while ago, but I texted you this and I was like, yo, I think this is the fucking album of the year. So, first of all, the title of the album, The Shadow and the Shade, like, what? That's deep. Alright, man. So, I've heard of, I don't know how to pronounce it. I think it's Ari or Sari. Yeah. But Ari the Kid.
Banks. And I didn't delve into this, but I do know that this is a talented dude.
Yeah,
like,
man. Just
look at that fucking track.
Yes, thank you for pointing that out, dog. If you want to talk about flows, you want to talk about metaphors, you want to talk about pockets, this guy has all of it. You want to talk about features?
Listen,
we talking Jada.
These are all dudes. I'm sorry to cut you off.
No,
these are all dudes who are not going to get on a track with you unless you can do something. And this is my first time looking at this track list, honestly.
You didn't see the text when I sent you? Yo, strike 3. Get the fuck out.
But, bro, I mean...
Yeah, man.
Obviously, Kiss. But, like, then you have Benny. Trouble's nice, too. But these two, specifically, Banks and Ransom, are not wasting their time with anyone who can't rap.
They're not, bro.
Mickey Fax, he could rap his ass off.
He could rap his fucking ass off, bro.
He could rap his ass off.
And that, hold on.
Yeah.
That Darkness in the Abyss, bro. So we know what the theme of this album, but the beat on this song, Mickey Fax goes crazy, Ari the Kid goes crazy. And I want to give flowers to Mickey Fax, bro, because he's...
Blog era.
Super blog era.
He came with that same class. He was on the XXL cover and everything.
Arguably the best cover. Asher Roth, B.O.B.,
the most
Nicki.
accurate depiction of what was to come.
Facts. Blue, other people. But yeah, I want to give flowers to Mickey Fax, man, because he was so beyond his time. The shit that he was doing back then in the blog era, like, it was just way ahead of his time. And I think I talked to you about this, but he dropped a project around 2010-ish. It's called Mickey Mouse. But it's a concept album. And the concept is He's a homeless street artist in New York City in the 80s, and he's trying to break into the art world, the Andy Warhol world, hanging out with Andy Warhol, Basquiat, Keith Haring, and he's talking about like going to the factory, which is where Andy Warhol had these parties, and like I just said, those artists come through and different celebrities. He's talking about like the Hulk Hogan crack era, like all that shit, and it's one of the best cohesive bodies of work I've ever heard in my life.
I'm gonna have to double back on
It's hip hop, but he also blends in other sounds. Like one of the songs is it's called "Taking Pictures of Girls Naked." It's like a house EDM hip hop kind of joint. It's fucking beautiful, and he to prepare for that album, bro, he went super method, bro. Like I've read interviews that he literally became homeless. Like he didn't shave, he didn't do anything. He slept on park benches for months at a time, really trying to dive into the character. And nobody really, I don't want to say nobody heard of it, but like it just kind of like went over
it's like
everyone's
50
head.
Cent lost all that weight for a role for the movie.
Sheesh. Yeah. And I remember, I forgot how I heard this, but he showed the project to Swiss Beats, and Swiss Beats was trying to get him to drop that project as his official debut major album. It just never happened because contracts and all that bullshit. But man, I still have that project on. I still have it on heavy rotation, bro. And yeah, I just want to give flowers to Mickey, man, because I've been following his shit for a while, and he could rap his ass off. And in this, he does not disappoint on this track.
Sci-Hi too.
But yeah, like I was saying, man, the features, bro, all these guys, bro,
all the spitters,
crazy. And
J.R. Ryder, I don't care what anyone had. That dude can rap.
Big Crit and Raekwon, that's pretty solid. Benny, like
Bumpy
we just
Knuckles,
said.
if you know, you know. That's Freddie Fox, Bumpy Knuckles, classic.
Press Zero with Benny, the fucking fourth track, stupid.
Yeah, we're gonna have to.
Stupid. The theme of this album, kind of like he was in a dark place. Obviously, he's trying to get himself out of it. He's learning about himself, right? On one of the songs, there's something about an uncle. On track number 6, Word to My Uncle Walter. So he's talking about shit that he's been through, and there's this. I think it's only 2 verses, and towards the end of the second verse, he's talking about. I think he was with a girl at a time, and the girl ended up passing away, but he was like so fucked up. He didn't know what was going on around him, and in the verse he's saying that like he attended the funeral, obviously, and then he's saying how like, can you imagine like going in the back room, consoling her mother, and the next thing you know they're fucking on the table, and it's like what? And when he said that, I kind of like tried to put myself in his shoes. As far as like, whenever you're going through such an emotional traumatic event, like shit happens that you would never ever ever expect to happen. You deal with things in ways that you would never ever expect. And when he said that, it was like, what the fuck? Like he must have been super fucked up if that shit happened. Like how does that happen? How does that happen? He ends up sleeping with his girlfriend's mom, who just passed away, and. Obviously, I don't know him, and I don't know what the intention was, but I'm assuming that he was just so fucked up, and like his mom was really fucked up, her mom was really fucked up as well. You know what I'm saying? And they were just trying to like console each other. But it's like that's some like crazy life shit, right? That's some crazy life shit.
There's a lot of trauma there prior to that incident for some shit like that to happen.
That's crazy, and like that line just really stuck out to me. I'm like, wow, that shit is just so deep, and yeah, man. So aside Ari the Kid, yo. I really want to highlight this album because this shit really, really took me back. And yeah, I just loved it. And he actually has a part 2 to this. It came out towards the end of 2022. I want to say maybe like October. This one came out in like February, March, something like that. Next album, this is somebody who doesn't get his fucking just due, bro.
Okay.
He came out in 2022.
Okay.
He doesn't get his just due, bro. This out, yes, it has 29 tracks, but again, preparing for the podcast, Mike and I were trying to do our homework, so I tried to listen to these albums as much as I can. 29 tracks, I like 20 of them. He has to me 2 certified classics: Documentary, Jesus Piece. Jesus Piece is one of the most slept on albums
for sure. He has one of the best catalogs in hip hop history. And I say that to say, I didn't find the time to listen to this album yet because of the amount, and that's it's not a knock to get, because listen, through all the trials and tribulations from day one when it came to the game, I always fucked with him.
Yeah.
I always fucked with Game, and this many albums in, he has one of the best catalogs in the history of hip hop music. And I get it, he's a polarizing character, but this man just knows how to put albums together.
Exactly. No, you hit it right on the nail on the head. Yes, he's a polarizing character, but when it comes to bodies of work, he's it.
Yep.
He knows how to put a great body of work, bro. And I just hate how he always gets overlooked. Like,
but that's kind of his own doing too. Because
I know exactly
there's a lot
what
of
you
the
mean
shenanigans, a lot of the bullshit surrounding it.
I know what you're saying about that.
He's delved into so much other than the music. I understand why it gets overlooked, but man, I encourage anyone who loves hip hop music, look past that and just do a little bit of homework into this man. Specifically, the albums you named, they're great places to start. The documentary, his debut, and then Jesus Piece 2013 release. I believe that is, I want to say that's like album number 4 or 5 at
Something
that
like
point.
that, yeah.
Incredible music, and he collabs with everybody.
Every song on that album, Jesus Piece, it's a perfect collaboration.
Yeah.
Ali Bomaye, Meek Mill, 2 Chainz.
What? Rick Ross.
What song is that?
Ali Bomaye.
Rick is on that too? You were saying Rick is on that song?
Yeah.
Ali Bomaye? Well, I got the track list behind us. Ali Bomaye. Oh, my bad. You're right. It's 2 Chainz and Ross. My bad.
Meek is on the intro.
Meek is on the intro. Oh, you scared now? Yeah. Look at this. Look at this. Look at the first fucking 4 or 5 tracks, 6 tracks. Like, Name Me King with Pusha T, See No Evil with Kendrick Lamar and Tank.
The title track with Kanye and Comments.
Yeah, we're talking about Jesus Piece right now because I just want to highlight how amazing of an album that album is.
Yeah.
Yo, that is one of the most slept on albums of that time. Just like we were saying, it's just like every collaboration track on this album is perfect.
Yeah. If he can't do anything else, he can make a fucking album.
Facts. Going back to Dramatic, just to talk about some of the highlights of this album. So yeah, I know it's 29 tracks, and obviously that's gonna put you off right away. But surprisingly, re-listening to this album, it was like I don't want to say easy, but I was able to go through it.
Shout out to the second track.
Yeah, I was able to go through it. And talking about one of the tracks, Easy, highlighted by Ye's verse.
That was one of my fucking... Ye's verse kind of distracts you from the fact that that was another fucking hit rap song of the year that really caught me.
Okay.
There was just something about it. It was simplistic, and I think I just liked the simplicity of it.
So it really made an impact on you.
Yeah, Game smoked it.
That song is cool.
I really fucked it. Hit Boy produced it, right?
But like that song is cool. I don't know. It didn't really do anything for me.
I fucked with it.
Crazy. But yeah, Ye's verse. He's going at Pete Davidson. Yada yada yada. Whatever.
Yeah, that's kind of what does take away from it, honestly. I feel like I could have gone without Ye's verse.
All right, so some of the highlights that I want to highlight to you. So you haven't heard this album?
No.
All right. Mm-hmm. So there's a song called La La Land.
Okay.
It samples Rum Shaker.
Interesting. Show me what you got.
Yeah. I think it's a really good sample and the way it blends into the track. So if you ever do get around to...
No, I will.
So, okay, when you get around to listen to this album, La La Land, just, I guess, perk your ears up a little bit because I really want to hear your reaction to that. There's a song called Home Invasion where he's just... the Game is known to rap and just rap whenever he wants to rap. Like, fucking 300 bars, duh. But, Home Invasion, like, he goes off. He's literally... I'm pretty sure there's no hook, no nothing. It's just him rapping. So, that's definitely another one to check out.
Game has always been good at that. Just...
Yeah.
Going.
And then towards the end of the album, you got Money Cash Clothes, which I'm assuming you can guess what if. I don't even think it's a sample. It is a sample, but you know what?
It must be a sample of Stevie Wonder. Money Cash Clothes.
So yeah, I think
I'm interested.
It's not a sample. It's kind of just the same beat, and ASAP is on it, but I don't know, man. First of all, that beat.
Oh wait, that makes sense.
I think I sent it to you, but whatever.
No, but it makes sense because